This has been Strictly Ball Business.
Strictly ball business.
Strictly ball business.
I like that video.
Ah, shit.
To start out, we're Strictly Ball Business. This is episode 51. We just had our 50th episode last week. If you listened to that, it was not that great because of our vocal quality. So we apologize for that, and we appreciate you for sticking around nonetheless. But this week, we're talking about the New York Knicks. They traded away Kristaps Porzingis years ago to the Dallas Mavericks, and they got not a ton back, it seemed like at the time. But in your mind, why do you think they won that trade, Dalton?
The Knicks?
Yeah.
I actually think that. They won that trade. No, I do. I actually think the Mavs won that trade. For a couple reasons, because I can go through. I broke it all down for who's where now.
Broke it
all down. So obviously, the trade was Dennis Smith Jr., DeAndre Jordan, Wesley Matthews, and 2 future round first picks. Then the Mavericks is they got Kristaps, Tim Hardaway, Trey Burke, and Courtney Lee. So if we want to look at it, one of the first round picks that the Knicks received, they have not used yet. Okay, so DSJ, he was probably the biggest part of this Knicks trade. They're like, we're getting this young talent. I mean, he had a great rookie year. His best year in the NBA was his rookie year, actually. Just to get DSJ, the Knicks played him for 1 year and then just traded him for a second round pick, and they just got Derrick Rose. Granted, great player, but they haven't really done anything with him. And now DSJ's not even in the league. It's not even signed.
Yeah. Oh, I know. Yeah, Dennis Smith Jr. was a huge bust. A lot of people thought he was going to be a great player, and he just did not amount to anything. Just was he afraid of the big stage? I don't know. He was inefficient as hell. He turned over the ball a lot too. So, makes sense that he's out of the league.
Exactly. And so they didn't win that there. The other 2 big pieces of that is DeAndre Jordan and Wesley Matthews. Both of them left for nothing in free agency. I mean, Matthews went to the Bucks. DeAndre Jordan went to the Brooklyn Nets. So, so they've only used 1 pick, and it got traded around, which is essentially what it ended up being was Quentin Grimes. So they got Derrick Rose and Quentin Grimes. Where if you look at the Mavs side of it, so Porzingis they got, but then they just flipped him for Dinwiddie and Bertans, who have played great for them. Honestly, Dinwiddie would probably be up in the running for 6th man a year if he was with the Mavs the whole year. And Bertans he didn't validate his contract, but he's showing why you're like, okay, now I'm starting to see it again, why he got this contract.
Yeah. No, it was a huge win for the Dallas Mavericks for all that matter, and they were able to get something out of Porzingis in the end themselves. The Knicks, obviously, they should have just gotten a better package, one that included more picks maybe, but I guess it wasn't out there. I remember when that trade happened, it was a shocker. Kind of felt like it came out of nowhere.
Yeah.
I mean, he was only with the team for like 3 or 4 years at the time, but it sounded like they got sick of his diva attitude. So I think it was a win just to get him out of the clubhouse. But unfortunately, the Knicks haven't drafted well for years. They just seem to always screw up. So it's not surprising that the draft picks they've gotten out of it haven't turned into anything. So, maybe next time they trade a guy like that, they just need to bring someone in. It's why they're probably going so hard after Donovan Mitchell right now. Yeah. They traded, they signed Jalen Brunson in free agency. They realizing like, okay, we're the New York Knicks. Like, we do have some pedigree, but like, we can't just keep drafting guys and like screwing that up because it's a never ending cycle of staying in the lottery and being in like the late picks of the lottery and not doing anything with it. Because they're never like bad enough to get a top 2 pick.
No, yeah, and
obviously the highest pick they got, he's a good player, but they've only had like 1, top 5 pick in recent memory.
Yeah, RJ 3rd pick. I mean, but there's a lot of players that draft that also a lot of people like more than RJ. But that's another video, another time. But also, if you want to dig more into this Mavs trade, Tim Hardaway Jr. is a huge piece for this team. When he's healthy and on the floor, he's a huge piece of that offense and why Luka Doncic does as well as he does. Trey Burke got traded to the 76ers for nothing basically, and then signed back with the Mavs. So he's still with this team, I guess.
Yeah.
He's just their third string point guard though. No, actually he signed last season, but then he just signed with the Rockets this offseason, and now he's a third string point guard on
Yeah,
the
he's
worst
still
team in the NBA.
Yeah, he's just bottom of the bench there. I mean, he's still in the NBA. He was able to
More than Dennis Smith Jr.
he was able to get some more years out of like what he did in Dallas.
Exactly. And Courtney Lee, as we know, retired. So like I think the Mavs overall won. They have 3 giant pieces for their team, whereas the Knicks have Quentin Grimes and Derrick Rose. Which Derrick Rose is worth like 1, a good huge piece of your team, but he doesn't make up for having Tim Hardaway Jr., Bertans, and Dinwiddie. He's better than
I mean, bringing in Tim Hardaway Jr., I think kind of makes it a win already, just because he's been such an integral player for them for years now.
Yeah.
And,
no, exactly.
They know how to draft well, so like I don't think like they doubt themselves in being able to replace a guy like Kristaps Porzingis, and like being able to replace the guys they traded away in that original trade as well. So
yeah, certainly interesting there. I mean, it's funny just looking back at these. Like, I want to do a few of these, especially there's a Magic one. I want to see what happened with Serge, but like, you really see how like it puts in perspective how you're like, oh, the Wizards are the one who lost. Quite honestly, for what they get is like the Wizards.
Well, the Wizards are always making bad moves. It's not surprising that they would make another bad one. And like, I don't know why a team would be interested in trading for Kristaps Porzingis after seeing how he's played in Dallas.
Yeah, I mean, Dallas, when he was on the floor, I remember those playoff runs with Luka, it was fine. But that's like, so not fine. Like, it looked great when he was in there with him playing fully healthy, but he was never fully healthy, and that's the main issue with him.
Yeah, and
I'd love to see him on the floor, but
he also has documented problems with Luka Doncic. Like, they don't like each other. And if he's having locker room problems with Luka Doncic because Kristaps thinks that he should be getting the ball just as much as him, then like, I'm sorry, you don't belong on an NBA floor at all if you're that obtuse. Like, you're that fucking delusional. Just like, go back to Europe, dude. Like, if like, go be a star over there. You think you're like the hottest shit? You're not. Like, no, exactly. Luka Doncic is a top 5 player in the NBA already. Arguably, or top 7, top 8, guaranteed.
Solid argument for top 5.
Solid argument. Like, a lot of people would have him in their top 5. The only people who don't probably just think he's too young. But he just fucking carried his team to the Western Conference Finals. And what has Kristaps Porzingis done? I mean, he's only gotten worse. He really had a lot of promise in his first couple of years. Then he got injured. But defensively, like, he looked awesome when he first came into the league.
Yeah, he's got that Benjamin Button career.
Where that is now. Yeah, he's like the Benjamin Button. Yeah, I don't understand it. Like, he just doesn't seem motivated when he's out there. Yet he's like, oh, I need to be getting the ball all the time. Like, well, make it make sense, bro.
Yeah. I mean, like, at this point, he's fallen into what Dwight Howard struggled for years, just a lot earlier in his career than Dwight did. Dwight knew it didn't at a certain point. He just had to fit a role, but he thought he was much better than their role, and he wasn't. And that Dwight Howard had to deal with it. Now Kristaps Porzingis has to deal with it.
Yeah, Kristaps is like a LaCroix version of Dwight Howard's Minute Maid Lemonade. Like, Dwight Howard was a superstar in his prime, and he had like a solid run of that, and then he fell off, but he was still a really great player for a little bit.
Still won a championship as a starting player.
Right, and he did that as, in his twilight of his career, kind of. Like, he definitely had fallen off a lot at that point, but still a solid player because he figured out, like, all right, I need to humble myself, and he did. He humbled himself, and I think a lot of people like Dwight Howard now, and they used to clown on it.
Yeah. Oh no, yeah. He's a likable guy. He's a good vet, is what he never was, but now he is. When I see him on a team, I'm like, okay, cool. He's a good vet.
He redeemed himself.
Yeah, he did. So once he does that, he'll be fine. But great trade. It's funny looking back at it. Yeah, how you remember how everyone was upset, and now like because it swayed from the Knicks definitely lost to maybe the Knicks didn't lose because Kristaps sucks, to then after what they got back for Kristaps, you're like, okay, the Knicks still lost.
Yeah, I mean, it like matters what you do with the picks, and like everybody always says, like when a trade happens, you got a ton of picks, and you're like, oh, they won this trade because they got so many draft picks. Like, yeah, if you don't do shit with them, they're worthless.
Yeah, so we'll
another
see.
bust.
Exactly, which will dictate the future of OKC because that's all their value got back from that. So
but they have been drafted well.
Yeah,
so
Giddy, and now they have Chet. So I guess they'll be unstoppable if they hit on those two right away.
I got more faith in them than I do the New York Knicks. I mean, that front office in Oklahoma City seems to know what they're doing. I mean, they still have Sam Presti running things, don't they? Or did he leave?
Yeah, Sam Presti's still there.
Yeah, so that's a huge difference. I mean, the Sam Presti versus New York Knicks, like, the you know what the problem with the New York Knicks? Before we move on, last thing I want to say, they're the most valuable sports franchise like in the world. Or like in America at least, maybe the world.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the world.
And so, like, they don't think like they realistically, need to change their habits. They just keep doing the same shit over and over and over again. They're like, eventually it's gonna work.
Yeah, and it's not fair to the Knicks fans. Like, I feel I kind of hate them anyway, but like, I would hate to be a Knicks fan because like I feel like James Dolan's just like, he's like, we're a Knicks, you're a Knick fan, and that's good enough rather than like what he does. Like, I don't know, but
I think the NBA is better when the Knicks are good.
Oh well, yeah, true. Well, I don't know. I really like the
They're
NBA
in the
right
playoffs. Their fans are going crazy and shit. I mean, that's fun. You need like that annoying heel. Like,
yeah, that's the 76ers right now.
Yeah, but like,
it's Philly fans.
I don't know.
Sorry.
Like, on a lesser scale, because like the Philly hasn't done shit. Like, Knicks have at least won a championship like in their existence. Have the Sixers done that?
No.
Maybe.
Oh yeah, with Julius Erving, I think they have one. I think so.
Yeah, whatever. Sixers fans can clown me. I don't give a shit. I hate every Sixer fan, and they can go continue to eat horse poop like they did when the Eagles won the Super Bowl.
Wow. But
it was a real thing. A man did that. It's on video. It's on the internet forever.
Well, clearly the Knicks lost that trade, and they're going to continue to lose on a lot more. Like and subscribe. We like talking basketball. You guys like hearing about basketball. It's simple as that. That's it.